Hi everyone, welcome to episode 15 of the Tez Talks Q&A series, season 2, as if it's a TV show. Yeah, we have some good questions, so let's start. Yeah, I have tips for that. I started off actually today. I had a stressful morning because my husband is out of town, and I woke up and I came upstairs and my dogs had pissed everywhere upstairs, like literally piles of pee. I don't know why. I have no idea. Maybe this transitional period for them or something because my husband's gone. But there was pee just kind of everywhere, and one of my dogs had peed on my son's backpack, which was super exciting because I had to bring that to school that very morning. Plus it was my snack week at school, which means you provide snacks for the whole class. And so I could just tell, I was looking at the time and I was like, I gotta clean all this up, then I gotta slice up the pears for snack, then I gotta make the lunch, then I gotta get him ready, and then I gotta brush his teeth and put his sunscreen on and blah, blah, blah. And I just started off the day stressed, and then he spilled some water and I was like, wah! And I could feel a feeling inside of me. It was kind of this like tight feeling. And I was like breathing very shallow. And what I did was I got us in the car. I was like, all right, I'm going to remove myself from the stressful environment, which is my house. So I got us in the car, and then I literally just took like 5 deep breaths before we started driving, and it completely recharged me, just having really deep belly breaths. So that was really helpful. And then I put on some music that is very recharging and re-energizing. And then I just tried to get present again. And the stress is just letting things affect you, external things affect you. Self-imposed pressure, self-imposed busyness a lot of the time. And so I was like, what can I cut out right now to help with my stress? Okay, so I definitely have to drive my son to school. I'm going to drop him to school. And then I knew that I was coming back to do some of these Tez Talk videos. So in my head, I was like, all right, I'm going to use the car ride to breathe, get present, fall back into my body again, and then smile at the situations I was faced with. Like, it's kind of funny. My dogs peed everywhere. They peed through my son's backpack. That's kind of funny too. Then I get home, there's hair all over the couch because they decided they wanted to sleep on the couch. All 3 of them. I have black dogs too, so like black hair. And I think if I had not taken the time to check back in with myself and recalibrate, that could have just been another thing on top of it, and I would have been incredibly stressed out for the rest of the day. But instead I just cleaned the couch, smiled about it. My friend Cass is here, and we had a laugh, and we just kind of moved through, I just kind of moved through that feeling, and just got super present. So hopefully that is helpful. I mean, if I could give you like the Reader's Digest version, like some dot points, I would say calming music, deep breaths, removing yourself from a stressful situation, even if it's just for 5 minutes. And if none of those things are working, I would do a gratitude list in your head too. So I think that can be really helpful. Yeah, it's been a really interesting journey for me because I think that I've shifted quite radically from when I was a teenager to now. But I still have so many of the same friends from high school, and obviously my family is the same. And it's about just sitting in who your authentic self is now, not who that person was 5 years ago, or when you're at school, or when you were spending a lot of time with your family. It's easy because there's sort of like a default mode, I guess. When you first engage in a relationship with someone, it's easy just to fall back into that pattern because that's kind of what you know, and that's sort of the fabric of this relationship. But it's also integral that with your shifts and your changes, that you're staying true to your new and evolving self. So for me, I left Adelaide and I came out to LA. I did so much work on myself in Los Angeles, and then I've come back and I still have so many of the same friends. And those friends of mine who I can engage with in a very real way with this new wisdom and this new outlook I have on life, and just new attitudes and thoughts and feelings, you can just start to engage with them in a different way. And I think it's actually great that you can recognize that you fall back into those patterns, because it's very normal human behavior. It's also sometimes just easier to do that, but it won't serve you in the long run. I think you end up finding that you get quite resentful, and your relationships aren't feeling truthful anymore because you're still trying to live out a dynamic that no longer exists. So I would say with my parents, that was the one that was the biggest shift for me. I think my dad and my stepmom now really appreciate the work I've done on myself, and they are completely meeting me in that space. They don't see me as the teenager who left to go to Los Angeles to be an actor, who needed a lot of guidance and help. They really see me as an equal now, and I can engage with them in a conscious manner with opinions, and it's the first time I think my dad has really felt like he can intellectually communicate with me, because I've grown so much and I've learned so much, and I'm loving this new kind of relationship. And so the people in your life who are willing to move and evolve and mold and continue to grow and strengthen your relationships, they're the sorts of people that you want to have in your life. And if it's not organic, if it's not an organic process, and you start to see yourself falling back into these ways of being with them, then it might be smart to keep that person at arm's length until you can really figure out how they can be open to the changes that have happened within you. So I think that's kind of it. And just being hyper aware, it's the first step. Super aware of returning back to old habitual patterns. That is the key to change and growth and strengthening relationships. So good on you that you are being mindful enough that you can see that. And now you just start going in the other direction. Just keep moving forward into the new space that you've created for yourself. Yeah. If I'm really stuck and I know that I need to tap into the subconscious level of knowing, I typically do it before bedtime. I will write out an intention, give me the guidance to know which path is the right one for me. And I will really focus on it right before bed, really, really kind of marinate and sit in these thoughts. And then usually in my dreams, there'll be some sort of indication in my dreams of an emotional connection to one or the other. And a lot of the time it might take a week of doing this, like over and over. But then you will know. Like, you will know. It might not happen instantaneously, but if you continue to do it every night and you think about it and you put energy into it, you'll come up with a decision. And it may feel like it's a conscious decision, but whatever decision you make, if you're putting so much energy into it, into trying to tap into your intuition, your decision that you make will be both subconscious and conscious. So your subconscious will be informing your conscious of the right choice for you. So this has worked a lot for me in life. I've had to make certain decisions. I remember I had to make a decision about 2 films, and I was so stuck, and my analytical mind was coming in and trying to process it and trying to break it down, and I just couldn't come up with a decision. And so every night I would write about it, I would think about it, I would meditate on it, and in the morning I would have a little bit, I'd be closer to some clarity. And then by maybe a week and a half, I knew my answer. It was really apparent. And I had a therapist once who told me not to make a decision until Simon says. And so Simon says is that voice which tells you this is the right way. This is how you do it. So sitting without making any big decisions until Simon says, until you have that deep knowing, is really important. And you also just have to be patient too, because that, you got to just develop that. You got to develop that part of your brain, the tapping into your instincts, tapping into your intuition, taking quiet moments, like really think about how you feel and where does that sit in your body. I did that actually with my university course too when I was younger. I had to choose out of midwifery and teaching. I just sat and marinated in it all. And then I chose teaching, and then acting chose me, and that was kind of my path. So yeah, that's what I would suggest. Utilize your dreams and your nighttime moments, and then that clear state of mind that you typically wake up in. So I would utilize that. Alright guys, that is it, and I will see you next week.